Welcome back to Snowy Owl Knits. I'm finishing up a little sample of the seed stitch, which is just beautiful to me, and it's using this Bergère alpaca blend. And just a note for those of you that are not familiar with the seed stitch, it is a completely reversible fabric, and I will link to a video in the description below for how to achieve this stitch. But at this point, I am ready to bind off. And one thing I want to do is have a really neat edge when I do that. One of the common problems that we run into when binding off, like on this sample of 1x1 rib, is this little loop at the end. And this is because as you're binding off the stitches across the top and you get to the end, this stitch here doesn't have anything grabbing onto it. It just sort of hangs out there. But there's a really easy fix for that, and I'm about to show you how to do that. So let's get started. We're just going to do a basic bind off, and in this case I'm beginning with a purl. So I'll stay in pattern, purl this stitch, knit the next one, and pull that first stitch over. And we've got another purl stitch, and we pass that over. So far so good, right? Very easy. And you'll find that that last little solution will make all the difference in your work. And it's not even a difficult thing to achieve either. I think a lot of people are surprised when they learn this technique that it is so simple, and oh my goodness, why haven't I been doing that all along? And so we'll just work across here. I'm used to knitting on my lap, and so sometimes I find it's a little bit difficult to go quite as quickly when I'm knitting on a tabletop. But I manage, usually. Every now and then I amaze myself with my lack of dexterity. We've got 2 stitches left. And so we're about to bind off. Whoops, let me get rid of this one by passing it over. I'm going to pull this up a little bit so that you can see what I'm talking about here. If I move that last stitch over to my needle, like my right needle, there is a stitch below, right here. It's the leg below. Let me see if I can kind of get that separate at this angle. You see, it's not part of the knit stitch that's on my needle. It's kind of hanging out below, and that is what will cause that dog ear. So very simply, all I'm going to do is place it up onto my needle with my other stitch and transfer it back. And then I am just going to treat that last little bit as one stitch. I'm going to insert my needle through both of those loops and knit it. And then I will pass the remaining stitch over. And hopefully I'll catch it. And let me remind those of you that are watching while I've got this all stretched out, when your pattern calls for you to draw the last loop through, they don't mean to take your yarn and feed it through that loop. That would add to the dog ear. What you really want to do is just pull that yarn end through and go about your merry way. So we've bound off, and the only thing really that we need to do is weave in our ends. You see, we don't have a dog ear anymore. We just have the purl bumps from other rows showing, and once we weave in our ends and block everything out, it will be quite ready to go. And that's a far cry from this business, isn't it? Thanks for watching, and be healthy, be safe, and love each other.